Krishna, 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 Hare
Krishna, 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 Hare
Krishna, 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 Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yes,
Nama Om Krishna Vadaya Krishna Dasai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tina. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachani Nivasesha Sunyavadi Paskata Desavantari. So, we're having a cow fest, and I thought maybe I'll try to talk a little bit about the importance of cows in our society. And so I was just given this this book right here I've never seen before. So anyway, we all know how much the cow means to Krishna. You see, every time you see a picture of him, he's with a cow. I mean, at least as a youth, he grew up in a village by the name of Vrindavan. It's an actual place that you can go to. But when you go to Vrindavan, you're not going to get the exact same experience. It depends on your consciousness, just like everything in life. It depends on your attitude. Like, I heard someone say recently that there was a person lost one finger. So instead of meditating on the fact that they lost that one finger, they thought, wow, I've got 9 fingers. What can I got 9 fingers I can use. So most of us, not most of us, at least, let's just say me, okay? I think of what I don't have instead of what I actually have. You know, counting our blessings. This is a familiar thing that is there and true in any kind of civilized or religious thought. We should be grateful for what we've been given. And I'm grateful that I've been given the opportunity to understand who Krishna is and the importance of cows. And I was given that knowledge by my spiritual master's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He came from India in 1965 with only a suitcase full of books, and he had something like 40 rupees, which was useless because you couldn't exchange the rupees into dollars. You can't even now, can you? If you have rupees when you come back from India, you can't exchange it into a dollar. You just save it for the next time you go back. So we all, I know I've got some somewhere. When I first started going to India, the exchange rate was 7.7. Now I think it's like almost 70?
70.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm sure everything's inflated, the prices and so on. So, the idea is that Srila Prabhupada has given us an opportunity to understand the real purpose of human existence. And with that, it also gives us the understanding of what is our relationship and what are our responsibilities in the human form of life. We're the stewards of this planet, and we should act like that. And we should not see everything within God's creation as something, a resource for me to exploit for my own personal gratification. And the qualities of a spiritual personality, and in this line specifically, we are following the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. This Hare Krishna movement started 500 years ago in Bengal by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How many of you know who Lord Chaitanya is? Have you heard of Lord Chaitanya? Anyone, all of you? So, because I know in certain parts of India he's not as well known as he is, like say, in Bengal or in Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya is considered the most recent incarnation of Krishna. And all of the incarnations of Krishna are actually in Shastra. It's all predicted. It's not like, because as you may know, in India there are a lot of people who claim to be Krishna or Vishnu, an incarnation. and they can do some magical tricks. But none of them can show you a universal form, or levitate over the hill for 7 days on their pinky. You know, none of them can create universes and float huge planets with oceans and mountain ranges like cotton balls swirling in space. None of them can do any of those things. So we've been given this information about Krishna through the parampara disciplic succession. We receive our knowledge through disciplic succession. We don't try to ascend to truth. We don't try to figure it out. Like if I, say that camera right there. In the West, and I suppose all over the world now, because the West has a lot of influence on other parts of the world. Whereas for people like myself, we look to the East to be influenced by the knowledge that came out of India especially. Because you had knowledge about the creation. You had knowledge about the Creator. And the West has some slight, but it's not complete. Not like it is in India. But unfortunately, after many years of occupation either by the Muslims or... Are there any Muslims here?
Yeah, Muslim, yeah, Mughal.
Okay, you're a Muslim?
No, I'm not Muslim. But
Okay, I just want to offend the Muslim.
Oh.
I don't want to start a religious war. There's nothing, we don't have any problems with the Muslims, but I'm saying that at one point they were occupying India, and then the British came along. And they were really trying very hard to discourage, the Indians, that your religion or your understanding of life is primitive, that we have a higher knowledge, and we're going to, through science and through various other means, we're going to civilize you. But actually the fact is that the British may have been very good at certain technical things and making things, but the Indians had, in India, they had knowledge of the self. They had knowledge of the Creator. So the Creator, it's like this creation, okay? That there's a camera. Now, I don't know how that camera was made. Now, I could do something like what they call reverse engineering, where I try to figure out how the parts were put together, and maybe after some time, through reverse engineering, I could maybe duplicate it or to some extent. But it would take a long time. An easier thing would be is to talk to the person who created it, or someone who had a good relationship with that creator, the person who manufactured the camera. So similarly, the Vedas are coming from the Creator. And that Creator gave this knowledge to Lord Brahma, the first created being, the most intelligent person in the universe. First, there's the Lord, Krishna, or Lord Vishnu. He creates the basic elements, and then he instructs Brahma how to create upon that. And then, so through that, then he gives that knowledge to Narada Muni, then to Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is a literary incarnation of Krishna, and he writes down the Vedas. So we get knowledge directly from Krishna if the representatives are pure. And to be pure, you have to have certain qualities. Just like, so we know who is an actual incarnation of Krishna. And the original personality of Godhead, Krishna, appeared 5,000 years ago in Vrindavan. And he loved cows. And we can talk a little bit about that. I'll give some quotes here. But then 500 years ago, Krishna came again. It's a very rare incarnation. His name is Lord Chaitanya. He's the one on our right. And next to him is Nityananda. Nityananda is basically Krishna and Balaram. Over here, on this side, on the right-hand side. Of course, this is Krishna here playing the flute, and next to him is his consort Radharani, the most beautiful woman in creation. and she is his pleasure potency. So Krishna appeared 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya, and he gave a process of understanding him and how to surrender to him for this particular age, the age of Kali Yuga. How many people have heard of Kali Yuga? Just about everyone. Kali Yuga is what is called the winter age of man. It's symptomized by hypocrisy, quarrelsomeness, short memories, so many deceit, so many very negative qualities, as opposed to in other ages, people, our lives are very short, where there's a lot of anxiety all the time. So, and that's not natural for the soul. The soul is who we are. So Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, and he taught us a process for self-realization called Sankirtan, which is the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, we can sing together the Hare Krishna mantra, or you can sing it in your car while you're driving. You can sing it when you're walking along. Sometimes I would have different occupations in my life, and I'd forget that I was around people that weren't familiar with the Hare Krishna movement, and I'd start walking, into the place of employment, and I'm going, Hare Krishna, and they turn around and look at me. What are you saying? I said, oh, that's that song by George Harrison. George Harrison. I can't get it out of my head. So thank God for George Harrison. Not that I'm ashamed of being a Hare Krishna at all, but in certain situations, you have to adapt. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is recommended, but also the japa meditation, and that's on these beads. Preferably they're made of tulsi. I'm sure you're familiar with tulsi. So 108 beads, and then the 109th represents Krishna, and you chant one round on each bead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And you move to the next bead, and you go around till you get to this bead, the head bead, and you never chant on that one. Then you start over, and we do it 16 times every morning. And I personally have been doing it for almost 50 years, and I don't get tired. I actually look forward to it in the morning. If I don't get it done by a certain time in the morning, which is actually, if I don't get it done by about 3:30 in the morning, I'm in a lot of anxiety for the rest of the day. And today was one of those days. I wasn't feeling so good in the morning, so I only just recently finished my rounds. So you'll excuse me if I'm not at my best. But I love to share what little I know about Krishna consciousness. Now, to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, it's recommended by Lord Chaitanya that one should be very humble, just like a blade of grass. Trinadapi suni chena, also very tolerant, just like a tree. A tree, people come and carve their initials in it, dogs come and urinate on it. The tree never complains. It still produces fruit and flowers for us. It gives us shade. And when it dies, it gives us heat for those people that live a more natural life. Like right here, we have a wood stove. To be respectful to all others and not look for respect for yourself. Now, a definition of humility I just heard, which I found very, it helped me a lot. And I'd like to share it with you. Maybe some of you have already heard of it. But humility doesn't mean that you think of yourself. You don't think less of yourself. You understand? You don't think that, oh, I'm a bad person. I'm very fallen. I'm this and that. You think less of yourself. Actually, humility is you become selfless. You don't think as much about yourself would you think more about Krishna? In that state of mind, one can chant. It's difficult to control the mind and to chant the Hare Krishna mantra because the mind is just like a hurricane. It's constantly swirling around with all sorts of thoughts, all sorts of anxieties. Why did I say that? I should never have said that. Oh no. Oh, I'll never be able to look at that person again. You know, making mountains out of mountains out of molehills. I wonder what's going to happen today. Oh, I hope this is going to work out. So many anxieties we have in our mind. You know, so I miss this person. I wish I could meet that person. Do I have enough money? You know, do people think I'm funny? I don't know. Do people really like does my breath smell? I don't know. So many stupid things we think of. So stop thinking about yourself. Think about Krishna. And Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. And the sound vibration of Krishna, actually, it's a mystical thing. It's mystical. It's actually the sound of Krishna is the same as the person Krishna. So, if you had the opportunity, just imagine, how many people here actually accept the fact there is a God? Does anyone think there is no God? And how many people think that it's possible that Krishna is God? You got some doubts? We got to change that. So, in any case, just say He is God. And now, if He is God, you know, His most intimate pastimes with His most intimate and confidential devotees, the gopis, are, you know, He's dancing with them. And there's, you know, embracing, and there's kissing. Not in the same way we think of here. It's pure love. It's not some, like the perverted reflection is lust here. So, but if Krishna is God, and the sound of Krishna is God, is Krishna, that means that Krishna is on your tongue. He's dancing on your tongue. That means that you have God on your tongue. That's a pure sound of it. That is the absolute most supreme pleasure that you can experience. When we chant purely, we will actually taste that. Better than any other taste you can buy. You can't, there's nothing you can just compare it to. I read something recently, a very advanced acharya named Vishwanath Chakravarti. He wrote many beautiful descriptions of Krishna and had many deep realizations of devotional service. And he said that when you experience the ultimate level, you know, prema and bhava, and you actually see Krishna, like this marble statue is actually Krishna. But we are covered, our vision is covered by our material desires. Just like, let's say a fish. A fish is underwater. When the fish looks through the water and sees the moon, he doesn't see the moon, he sees another fish. That's all. So he doesn't have the eyes to see. He doesn't have the right attitude. When we look at these deities, we see, oh, they're beautiful. And they're dressed beautifully. And the flowers are done so nicely. But we don't, we don't see actually the full vision yet. And Vishwanath Chakravarti was such a soul. And he said, they describe Krishna's color as the new rain cloud, blackish and blue, deep blue and blackish. And they describe the dhoti he is wearing is like a beautiful golden yellow, almost like a lightning bolt. and they describe the way he walks like an intoxicated elephant that moves. But he said, nothing, no words, no analogies that you can give with our mundane brains can compare to the actual vision of Krishna. And we have an opportunity in this life to see God. And that is the ultimate goal of this life. The fact that we have the intelligence to have a conversation about something other than where is food, where is, how do I going to defend myself in this situation? Do I have good shelter to protect myself, to sleep? Do I have a good partner for marriage? These are the things that the animals worry about. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. But the human being has a different quality. We have a sense of perception of our surroundings. We look up at the sky and we see all these phenomenal, creations above us, and we wonder, what is this place we're in? We also look around and we see ourselves and how every year everything is happening in such an organized fashion. The seasons change. I mean, the sun rises. They can tell you exactly when the sun's going to rise. It's always done in a very systematic way. That's not random, as the scientists try to tell us. It's not that it's just by chance these things are happening. The scientist tells us that everything just happened from a big explosion. Like the Fotis have this joke. They create the Big Bang Construction Company. So the Big Bang Construction Company is that you come to me and say, so I'm really interested in building a ranch-style home, and these are the colors I'm interested in. And then he's, no problem. We got all the materials right here. No problem. We do things a little bit differently around here than the other guys. We don't need so many workers, so we won't have to charge you quite as much. We figured out that everything can be done simply by sticking some dynamites around all the material. You just have to pay for the material and the dynamite. Then we'll set them off, and then after the explosion, when the smoke clears, you'll have your home. The Big Bang Construction. This is ridiculous. This is an absurd. Somebody told me this other, where somebody comes into a cafe and they say, we have two soups of the day. One is the split pea, and the other is the primordial soup. So the split pea is, split pea, and we put some ghee in there. We're vegetarian. We don't put any chicken broth. So it's over. And then the primordial soup, to be honest, we really don't know what's in it. We just know that every morning in that pot, there's a soup there. And it just comes. And it's available, and some people say it's not too bad, actually. So, this is an absurdity. This is an actual true story. You've heard of Sir Isaac Newton. He's the one who apparently they named gravity after him. But it's a law that is here in this creation, and he just understood it. And so they say it's Newton's law of gravity, but actually it's God's law of gravity. So he was a theist. At that time, all of his scientist friends were atheists. So this is actually documented that he created a model of the solar system with the sun, the moon, and the different planets. I don't know if they had 8 or 9 planets at that point, and they were all rotating around like that. He just turned this thing and it was rotating around. He shows it to all his friends and they go, "Sir Isaac, this is fantastic. How long did it take you to do it? Now how did you get this to turn there like that?" You see, because it's going slower and that one's supposed to be going faster, and it's perfect. You did it perfectly. So how long did it take you to do it? He said, "Well, actually, I really don't know. I mean, what happened was I was doing some experiments with some volatile chemicals, and I forgot to cover them up one night, and I heard a big explosion. I came down when the smoke cleared. There it was." And I said, "Oh, come on, Isaac, don't play with us. Come on, no, really, seriously, how did you do it? Take credit for what you've done." And he's, "Oh, I just told you, it's just like the universe itself. There was a huge explosion, and then, there's a beautiful baby too." So I didn't see it. And we're not disturbing her. It's a her. He? Okay, I thought I saw pink. No, it just happened. There was a big explosion. And they're going, "No, that is not possible. That can't be. Now stop it." He said, "Oh, now you see the point? You see how frustrated I am with you? You tell me that this couldn't happen just because of an explosion. You think I had to have done this. But yet you look at this solar system that is perfectly organized, perfectly, everything is spinning. If we just tilt the wrong way, like a quarter of an inch, we will burn and die. Or if it goes that way, we'll freeze and die. Nothing is crashing into itself. Everything is spinning just properly. Big, heavy planets. This sun, this is this huge, fiery, nuclear type reactor floating in the sky and giving us light and heat, just exactly enough. And you say that happened as a result of a huge explosion. And even that, where did the materials come from originally? The materials that made up. Why? You can't accept this. So these are, ideas, or not just ideas, these are arguments just to prove the existence of God. And what is the definition of God? God is the supreme controller. And God is also the most attractive person. He has to be. God, and what is attractive? If right now somebody like Bill Gates walked in here, we would all be like, "Whoa, isn't he like $40 billion walking in here right now? I mean, this is one of the richest men in the world." We'd all be attracted, right? Or some very famous model or actor, the most handsome man, the most beautiful woman. Everyone is going to want to look. She's so beautiful. He's so handsome. Or then somebody that, right now I don't know who's considered very intelligent, but let's just take Einstein. Everybody thinks Einstein is so brilliant. So all of a sudden, here's Einstein, the theory of relativity. It's coming from him. He's so intelligent. He knows so much. So many things like this: intelligence, beauty, wealth. Then someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, a very strong person, powerful, strong. He comes in. And then someone who's extremely renounced, doesn't care, like a very great saint, a very great saintly person. Or even like, say, Mahatma Gandhi in India. He was very renounced. People were attracted to his renunciation. So these are the things that are attractive. And God, Krishna, has all of those things in full. So there is a God. This world is not random. And we have a relationship, and He's the most beautiful, He created everything, He supports all of us, He's the strongest, He's the most beautiful. When we finally connect with Him, we'll never experience old age. We'll never experience fear or anxiety. We'll never feel alone. We'll never feel hatred or lust or greed or envy. We'll always feel pure, unending, always increasing love and joy. And this human form of life is meant to connect with Him. And what Krishna likes when He comes to the earth to teach us about Him, He's trying to attract us. He always loved us. He never stopped loving us. For some reason, we decided we wanted to try to go it on our own. It's very easy. Let's say if you're in a mundane, perverted reflection of God and the soul, and you have a relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or your parents, it's easy to break that relationship. You can walk away from it at any time. Get angry, divorce, run away. It's easy to break the love. But it's very hard to reconnect. It's not easy after you walked away from someone you loved or someone that loves you. Now, Krishna never stopped loving us. He still loves us all the time. He's always with us in our heart. And He comes at different times to try to attract us. And He even gave us this incredibly simple process. You from India know about how difficult it is, the real yoga. Not the yoga that they're selling here in America. Real yoga. These yogis live in the Himalayas. They stand in freezing cold water when it's, the winter time. And in the summertime, they sit with 5 fires, 4 in each direction, and the sun above them. They have to, and they control their breath, their eating. Some of them, they'll eat some berries or some bark of tree every other day or something. This is a very difficult process, and it's not very fruitful in this age. But in this age, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya. Namo Mahavaranaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Purdevishe Namaha. The most munificent incarnation is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he gave us this Hare Krishna movement. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so we can connect and we can fall in love with him again. He doesn't want to force us. He wants us to love him. That's all he wants. But we have to know him. That's why we have all these books that our spiritual master gave us. To give us knowledge that there is God. The importance of understanding God. And what he does and how wonderful he is. Like, okay, now the cow. I'll get back to the cow. We're having a cow festival. What does a cow do? A cow eats grass. Doesn't need a lot of work. The woman, the female cow and the male, but the female cow, let's talk about her specifically. She eats grass. And grass is everywhere. How difficult is that? How expensive is that? She eats the grass, and that grass, she turns it into milk. And that milk, she shares it with her calf, and then there's enough for the human. With milk, you can make, here you can have mine too. If there's not enough, take that one. Thank you. You can make butter. You get cream. You can make ghee. Most Americans don't understand. They're just learning about ghee. Real ghee. And you can cook with ghee. You can make so many beautiful, wonderful, tasty sandesh, burfi, all these different sweets, milk sweets, that is a part of the culture from India. that we're just trying to learn now here. So the cow gives us all of these things. Then the ox is very expert at, if someone is trained and can do, I know it's hard work, but the ox is very good at helping man in cultivating the land. And he fertilizes the land simultaneously. The cow dung has all good qualities. It's the best fertilizer. It's antiseptic. It's actually used in a lot of the urine and the cow dung. First of all, the cow dung is also used as fuel. The cow dung and cow urine are also used in a lot of Ayurvedic medicines, which are preventative medicines. A more holistic approach towards our lives and taking care of our bodies. So Krishna loves the cows, and he comes. I saw one quote here. The Mataji just gave me this book. I've never seen it before, and I wanted to read it. Which one is it? Protection of the cows maintains the most miraculous form of food, anye milk, for maintaining finer tissues of the brain, for understanding higher aims of life. Says, what is the purpose of eating? To live. If you can live very peacefully, very nicely, with good health, by eating so many varieties of foodstuffs given by Krishna, why should I kill an animal? This is humanity. Why should I imitate an animal? Then what is the difference between animal and human being? If you have no discretion, if you have no consciousness, besides that, scientifically, your teeth are meant for eating vegetables. We only have 2 canine teeth. The tiger has teeth for eating meat. Nature has made it like that. It has to kill another tiger's that is. Therefore, he has no good nails. He has good teeth. He has got strength, but you have no such strength. You cannot kill a cow like that, pouncing like tiger. You have to make slaughterhouse and sit down at your home. Somebody may slaughter, and you can eat very nicely. What is this? Do you like tiger? Pounce upon a cow and eat. This is from Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 11th verse through 19, Los Angeles, December 27, 1968. So anyway, we have this festival every year, and we not only have the cows that we milk and we also have, this is a retirement community for cows. Is Jayanti still here? No. Kacha left too, okay. So in an ordinary dairy, what they do is once the cows stop producing milk, they feed it a lot of grains that are high in protein. The cow meat isn't high in protein, it's the grains they eat. Because they overfeed them, they have to give them antibiotics and steroids to make them weigh more so they can make more money. They sell the mother, the cow, for slaughter because it's not profitable to take care of your mother. This is so-called civilization of the West. India knew that. You should be proud of the culture that you came from. And we are fortunate that one of your kind, Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, came in 1965 and opened our hearts and minds to a better way of living. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So one quick thing is if you see some of our cows and they look like, oh, they're not fed well, or they're look like they're crippled, it's because they're old. They have arthritis. Just like I'm old and I don't look so good. That's why I keep my hair, not only I'm supposed to keep my hair short, but I purposely keep it short so I don't have to, after I take a shower, I don't have to look in the mirror and be reminded that I don't have black hair anymore. And I'm not young. Inside I feel like I can dance, but I can't. I mean, I can and I can't. The limit. The body is growing old. We are eternal, and we have an eternal relationship with God, and we can connect with God again, right now. Anyone have any questions or comments? Because it is time for feast. I went a little over my time. Anyone have anything they'd like to ask? If you can't make it for the Cow Fest, just keep it in mind, bear it in mind. Every year we have it at the same time, which is the first weekend of October, right? And come anytime and see our cows, talk to Jayanti, and thank you so much for listening. Hare Krishna. That was a good book. I mean, I just grasped that.